Yo, 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 yo. What's good? What's going on, y'all? We are back once again. Thank you for joining us. As you can see, there's only three of us. Brothers on the way. Just running a little late. You know how life is. So first and foremost, gentlemen, how you feeling?
All right, just got from the gym. Might have strained the shoulder muscle, however. A little
Oh,
sore in
yeah.
that shoulder. Not workout sore, but like kind of like that muscle strain sore. But we'll be okay. We just take a rest. Hit back again
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Sounds like age to me, sir.
Fucking age, shape.
Shape.
Ah.
How your mug just blended in with your background. That was crazy just now. That was wild. What about you, Strike?
It's the Maximus overflowing, I guess. Oh, there we go. Couldn't blend too long. I'm all right. Shit happens. That's all I'll say. So I'm just chilling.
Well, it is what it is. I feel you. Me, I'm still riding this high on getting engaged and shit. So, it's just,
Good.
life is life, and you know what I'm saying. So
That's good.
it is what it is. It is what it is. So,
Oh,
folks, we do have a few topics, and we'll just talk about what those topics are. Um, so first and foremost, we're gonna get into Ariel Helwani uh, and Tony Khan's beef. Then we're gonna cover the Elimination Chamber, and then lastly, we're just gonna talk about the week of wrestling. Granted, SmackDown is tomorrow, um, so we really don't know what's going to be said tomorrow or anything like that. But we know that there has been some shit that's gone down already in the wrestling world this week. So there's been a lot of headlines. There's been a lot of different situations going on, and we will jump into all of that. I just want to give a shout out to a few people. Top Rope Squishy, always showing support. We appreciate you. Dirty Heels, brothers, we appreciate y'all. Backstage Brawl, Jobber Tears, Battle Club Pro, all the talent from Battle Club Pro. Um, yeah, we're we just want to say thank you for all the opportunities. Um, we really appreciate it. You know what? Before QS comes on, this is the last few days, or well, it's the last full week of Black History Month.
Mm-hmm.
So before we get into our main topics, excuse me, I just want to ask, what are some or who are some of the BIPOC uh, talent that you would like to just shout out real quick?
Currently wrestling or
And, sure, currently.
currently
Maybe
wrestling?
indies, maybe somebody who doesn't get as much going on.
Who doesn't get the recognition that they deserve?
He's here.
U.S. is
Yeah.
here, ladies and gentlemen. But I want to add,
that's one black wrestler that doesn't get enough recognition.
BIPOC. Well, it's just people of color.
Yeah. The one wrestler that I think of immediately that doesn't get the respect that he deserves is Mr. Darius Carter, ladies and gentlemen.
Of course.
The individual that deserves your attention and respect for his
Big Mac
craft,
coming
the
up.
art. Don't cut me off. You're not that tough. The art of professional wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. That man embodies the art. Everyone else is, just a cheap watercolor imitation. That man is the Sistine Chapel of art, the art of professional wrestling. Do yourself a favor, get yourself educated, get yourself off welfare. Make sure you check out Mr. Darius Carter. That's a wrestler.
Wow.
I ain't saying nothing else for the rest of the segment.
You guys?
Well, go ahead, Q.
One shout out I give it to I say one that's to me that's a little underrated, and she doesn't really get enough recognition. Well, it's two that they're very underrated, but they're underrated to me, but they don't get enough recognition as is. Big Swole and Trishadora.
Yes, sir.
Man,
Good call.
Yes, sir.
I mean, Trishadora is she still the current Pan
Yes,
African?
she is.
Yeah, still Pan African championship.
Yep.
It's still. I think that title in itself should be highlighted. Like again, we like for those who do study on Pan African history of it. Study Garveyism, if you want to call it that.
Mm-hmm.
It's that there's history in that. There's history that you could even date it to that if you want. It's also it is a fairly new title, but it should be represented on like more on a grander scale. It actually should be shown. I know we've seen Trishadora on TV a couple of times. We've seen her on TV on a couple of rampages against Jade, but that title should be actually getting recognition on Rampage, should be getting recognition on Dynamite, should be getting recognition on Elevation. If that's the case, that should be a title that should actually, I think, be getting pushed. And Big Swole gets a nod for me because no questions asked. Those who have seen Big Swole, you can see the passion. She's passionate. This wrestling clearly is in her. I wouldn't say it's in her blood; it's in her soul. She cares about the craft. She cares about the sport and the art. She obviously, yes, she is the wife to Cedric Alexander, but a lot of, especially with Big Swole, a lot of people tend to just give her more flack than praise, and I think that's not fair. It's not fair to her. This is someone who if she's on any roster, she's a good hand. It should be, and she should be. She's someone that you can use to help elevate a match. That's how I see it. So I think it should be dope. That's just two names I think that should be used as a sense of like that don't get enough recognition. That should just be getting recognition, especially for this month.
Yeah, shout out to Auntie Swole.
yeah.
Straight. Want me to go?
Really think you could go, yeah.
All right. I got two people. One is Faye Jackson. Shout out to Faye, who came out of retirement for one match against your boy Stretch, Darius Carter. I don't know if I showed y'all the video of her twerking on him, giving a twerkulator.
I seen him about to slam her through a table. That's what I seen.
Oh no, he slammed her through that table. Death Valley drove her through that table.
That's what it looked like it was set up for.
She won the match. So, and that was payback from last year's Black Girl Magic when he put a chair over her neck, threatening to stomp on it. So she came out of retirement for that one match, I believe.
Blind squirrel gets a nut every now and then, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Darius,
and
day in the sun. Don't you cut me off? You're not that tough.
I'll cut you off again. No. And actually, speaking about Darius, his opponent March 5th on Catalyst Wrestling for the Catalyst Heavyweight Wrestling title will be his opponent and Carter Group member and Catalyst Television champion O'Shea Edwards. Nice. So shout out to the Big Bad Kaiju, great guy.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you, brother, for all the support that you've given all of us. But no, we always got your back, bro. And we can't shout out O'Shea without shouting the rest of STP. Shout out to Ron. Shout out to Shane Taylor. Shout out to Khan. Even though he's part of MC, he will always be Shane Taylor Promotions. Shout out to Moses, who was at the last Battle Club show as a surprise entrant. So shout out to you all, man. We appreciate y'all so much. And everybody for that matter. What up, Squish? What's good?
What's up, Squish?
What it? You still thinking, bro?
I mean, I kind of want to say Marty Bell.
So go ahead.
Go for it.
Honestly, if y'all know me, y'all know I have a love for the Hex. I love Marty Bell. I love Sienna, but for BIPOC and Black History Month, I definitely got to give a shout out to Marty Bell. I feel if you want entertainment, you want heel heat, you want all different types of sneaky heelish stuff, you can watch a Marty Bell match and just enjoy it. For what her and Sienna has done as the Hex across the world, across different promotions, shit, what they're doing now in Impact, it's a thing of beauty as always. So I'm always gonna rep Marty Bell all the time.
Yeah, for sure. We
I
miss you
got
too, Squid.
we miss you too. I got one more, and I'm serious about my pick of Darius Carter, of
No, of
course.
course.
So as everybody knows, I'm not serious about the welfare thing. If you need public assistance, by all means, use it. There's nothing wrong with that. Um, but I think that the next name I'll drop on you, I think everybody here will agree. As soon as I say the name, somebody who's very versatile, fill a lot of different hats, and does them well. Drum roll, please. Rev Ron Hunt.
Yes, sir.
Rev Ron Hunt, who's a wrestler and a manager, who I think does a fantastic job at both. I look at Rev Ron Hunt and I see him in the ring, and he's really good in the ring, but I love him as a manager. And it's like he has the idiom of. I heard James J. Dillon say this like on a podcast once. You wrestle like a manager, but you manage like a wrestler. And he like has that down pat as far as like when he's on the outside, he is always making his charge who he's with look. He's transferring his heat onto that person. It does not mind putting over anybody that's in the ring with him. As a manager, but when he's in there as a wrestler, like he really nails like that heel persona well. I love watching him work.
Yeah, for sure.
He's
He breaking up. All right, there you go. You good?
so I think it's the background.
Nah, I know it could be Mr. Tetris Master over here. But we're 12 minutes in. I'm your man, K Marvel.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy QS.
It's me, the big stretch himself.
StrykerDragoon with the Nest shirt.
And as always, we are your four corners of commentary. All right, so one more thing before we get into our topics. Q, what's going on, man?
Ain't much. Don't really want to get into much. Not even life is life. Like I said, my mood is on 20. So I guess for everyone in the show, and I guess everybody in the comments, tread lightly. I'm on 20. I'm not in that best of a mood.
Okay.
And that is that.
Got you. Tiff says, "Hey guys."
Hey Tiff.
What's up, love?
He was mine.
Shut up. So let's get into our topics.
I remember Aruba.
Will you stop? Damn well I don't have a passport. So let's get into these topics. First one being Ariel Helwani versus Tony Khan.
The snowman.
You know what? One of you take the reins on this one.
The snowman. I think it's just a bit of vitriol on the side of Tony Khan because journalists are gonna journalist regardless to what. So somebody asking you tough questions, saying that you can't legally answer the questions, but the person's asking you other questions and you're still dodging questions, kind of like, what's the point of you being here for the interview? You're not promoting anything. You're not, giving any trinkets of information or like pieces of candy basically to lead us into a good interview. You're not really doing anything. And this was not the only interview this man has done in that same week span where he wasn't contributing much. You can look at his interview with was it Wrestling on Barstool? I think that's the name of the podcast. Wrestling on Barstool, and he gave a little bit. He still wasn't giving a lot. Oh, there's a lot of stuff I can't speak about. So it's like, what's the point of doing an interview? Or why didn't you say beforehand, hey, cut this out? Don't want to speak about this. Can't give you information about this. But, we can talk about everything else. Everything else is off the table. I mean, everything else is on the table. You can talk about whatever. That's how I would approach an interview. Why would you have me on an interview, or why would you have somebody ask you questions that you're not going to answer? It's
Well,
stupid.
to an extent too, I can also understand him not answering said questions because at that time it wasn't too long after everything went down. So from a legal standpoint, I can get that. You know what I mean? That can easily be defamation of character. You know what I mean? So, and that's a big, and obviously that's a big deal, especially when you're the owner of something.
Mm-hmm.
So, so there are intricacies that I can understand for sure. But you're right on multiple accounts. Number one, he should have said something to begin with. It's easy to send a email out because let's be real, that's probably how they communicated. You can send a text out, whatever, just saying, "Hey, listen, I know this is the hot topic. I know everybody wants me to talk about this, but due to legal, even if you said it like that during the interview, due to legal reasons, I'm not allowed to speak about this. But I am, and this is what he should have did. I am more than willing to speak about anything else,
Right.
and that's how it should have went down, in my opinion.
Bottom
I'm asking
line,
you hot button questions. Why couldn't you just say, "Hey, don't ask me this. Don't ask me that. Don't ask me
But
about
that's
bottom
but that's what I'm
line,
saying. He should have said that beforehand.
bottom line. For real, in retrospect, this situation is really not as serious as folks are making it out to be. It is funny. It was funny. It was funny. It only was funny because we only went this far because Tony came online and wanted to call this man a fraud.
Yep.
Your bottom line. However, and regardless of how anybody else feels about Ariel Helwani, the man is still a journalist. A lot of the folks that are tapping into the story usually didn't. You guys are just going off the history of Ariel with what happened to him with Dana White and UFC. Y'all defending Dana White is y'all ended up white knighting and caping for Dana White is also another weird flex for y'all. But I mean, cool, whatever. It's just y'all just keep on. Y'all love anytime situations like this happen with Tony. I always like to see the discourse of how so many people come to defense and be a white knight. This would have never gotten this far if Tony never tweeted that out. And he was asked. He went online. He went on to another show. They asked him a question, and Ariel was honest and said, he kept it honest. He said the interview he had with Tony was one of the worst interviews he's ever done. That's how he feels. He's entitled to feel that way.
Yep.
You guys, a lot of you went to say like, oh, he couldn't talk about the brawl out thing because of legal reasons. Then he should have said that because him and his team was the one that came to Ariel about to even have an interview of discourse. So obviously Ariel never got the word that I think the word that he never got cross-examined for it. They never had a conversation to say like, hey, this is what you're not supposed to say. Don't ask him this, don't ask him that. So obviously anything was free for all. He's just going off free reign because he doesn't know this man. He doesn't know very much about it. He's just like, yo, clearly this is the big thing that's about going on with your company. So he's just asking questions. Now you can't sit here and feel like, oh, he's not asking the hard questions for this, but he's asking hard questions for the other side. But it's all a matter of, it's again, as y'all said, it's a matter of how it's being displayed. If you are going to go and display it in this aspect, in this way, to say like, hey, when we're having this interview, this is what you can ask him. Here's a list of what's to ask. Here's what you stay away from. This is what happens in any of these interviews. Anyone that has done interviews or is going to interview a big person, or if you've seen them interview a big person, these same journalists will go and tell you this is how it goes. That's how it goes down the line, how it goes down most of the time. Mm-hmm. So it's just interesting to really see like how many people are dissecting this fucking shit, and they're like really going in trying to take the side of Tony. Some are trying to take the side of Ariel. Honestly, the whole shit is funny. It's fucking funny. It was funny as hell. Now everybody's basically trying to see like, oh, that even WWE is joking about it. They're joking about it too much. Now all of a sudden being to see like, oh, WWE and the fans, they're so bothered because it's like this whole thing with Tony is living rent free in their head. So it's so funny now. Now they're making a joke about it, and now they're living rent free. But when it was always the jokes on if something was happening to the E and it was the jokes on their expense, it's all good. Yeah. This is why that's why I always find it's just always funny to see the discourse. Anytime Tony gets himself into some shit, that seems a little bit amusing, y'all just take it as like y'all don't like it. Y'all take it
Shields come
and be
out.
like, oh no, it's not. You can't make fun of him. Oh, you can't do
Yeah.
this, can't do
Must
that. It's
protect a
not
good
fair.
billionaire at all costs.
Like no. And I always say, anybody that sits here and wants to keep caping for billionaires, you never look on the right side of history. Because again, no, bottom line, no, you shouldn't be caping for either side. Nobody's caping for these billionaires. This is just not. It's nothing to cape for. Bottom line, they're just. But if one side does some trash, does some unnecessary shit, you got to call it out. If the other side does some unnecessary shit, call it out. That's it. It's just done. It's not that serious.
Same energy. You're absolutely right. So there's a couple of things, right? There's a lot of context to unpack with this.
Yeah.
First off, like QS is 100% right. Most of the time, big press interviews or something like that, people make appearances. They're usually clear what type of questions are game and fair game, right?
Mhm.
You know who usually handles that? Public relations for most departments. This is, without question, if anything, the most glaring need that I've seen for AEW, especially Tony Khan. They need a public relations department of some sort. What they really need to do is take away his keyboard when he's feeling emotional. That's what happens. This is not the first time that this has happened. This is not the first time that the internet has ended up laughing at Tony Khan because he looks like a giant nerd. Secondly, Ariel Helwani, I think, as a journalist, should have read the room. He was not going to get that type of information out of Tony Khan. So for him to ask similar questions like that of that ilk about 6 times, like, hey, can you tell me about this? Can you tell me about this incident? What can you tell me about the EVPs that were also involved in this incident? He should have known that he was not going to get a straight answer.
Mhm.
However, that doesn't make it any less of a horrible interview. He asked him other questions, and Tony Khan essentially said, okay, let's watch Dynamite on this time slot.
It's like
never really answered any of the questions that he asked him. So Ariel Helwani kind of has a right to be pissed as an interviewer, as a journalist.
Excuse me for stuttering. It's not even a point of he might have the right. He absolutely has the right. First off, I'm sorry, Q, real quick. First off, you're a journalist, okay? You pride yourself on your journalistic integrity.
Mhm.
Yeah, true.
I can understand being upset if your integrity is being tested, because that's exactly what it was. Number 2, people want to talk shit about, oh, he's doing all these WWE interviews. Why won't he come over here? Do you not see the CEO of the company? He can't get an interview. And I'm not saying that he can't get an interview or do interviews with people over there. Of course he can. And they'll be amazing. But if he's gonna get that from the CEO, why would he want to work with that company? I wouldn't.
Excellent.
I don't know about the rest of y'all.
Excellent point.
Of course there's talent. Of course there's talent that he's gonna want. You don't think he wants to interview Ricky Starks? You don't think he wants to interview Chris Jericho? You don't think he wants to interview the Elite or House of Black or the Acclaimed
Or Mox.
or Jade? Mox?
Or Jade. Jade is actually really good.
Freaking any of the women in the women's division? Like anybody in ROH. Like
I think another thing to take into account, again, like I say, when everyone's like now trying to like do the deflection on Ariel, a lot of folks are trying to bring up now I don't even know how Jonathan Coachman got into all this business, this bullshit. Coachman over here bringing shit up, saying how Ariel has no right to be talking about anything in regards into the wrestling business because he hasn't been in it, he hasn't been in the shoes. When in all, I never even I didn't think that Ariel is trying to be a wrestler. Trying to be a wrestler, he's a journalist, he's just an interviewer. And, you want to bring up that him being banned from like UFC events because of whatever his incident is with Dana White. That's just personal. I think that's just a little bit of a personal standpoint because at the end of the day, yes, there was a little thing that happened at the time when Ariel was working at that ESPN company with Coachman. They did get into it was a little bit back and forth with him and Dana, and then Dana did ended up banning him from any UFC press releases or anything, so he couldn't actually do that type of work. So ESPN at that point had to let him go. But then at the same time, Ariel did turn it around and just bet on himself, and he's still a pretty successful journalist from what it seems, so to speak. Bottom line, it doesn't take into account just because he essentially doesn't agree with your perspective of your standpoint, you don't have to be. A lot of these other journalists don't need to come out of left field, because the last thing I would have expected. I don't need to expect to hear Jonathan Coachman coming out of anywhere trying to put his 2 cents into the shit. When one, he doesn't cover wrestling anymore. He's on anything that he does on ESPN is he's only covering bets. That's Jonathan Coachman's lane right now, covering bets, covering the FanDuel shits and all the betting and all that aspect. So it's like, for him to talk on this, it just was like, all right, like you're just trying to make yourself relevant. Well, not even say that you're not being relevant. You're not irrelevant. You're trying to put your business in something that has nothing to do with you. It really just pays to just just mind your business and shut the fuck up. It's not that, like you said, this whole thing between these two, it really wasn't that serious. It was funny. It was a little bit of jokes at first, but it's just weird how I think the community has just taken it way out of left field, and they're and everybody's just making dissertations about this shit. That's why I had to because I even had to ask that question. I said, so now we're questioning Ariel Helwani's journalistic integrity now.
I don't think it's fair, number one, to question his journalistic integrity, and especially to use Dana White as a fucking example.
Exactly. Like, of all people, now we're Dana White. Y'all were just literally talking about how much y'all hated Dana White because of what he did with his wife, and then y'all hated and how much y'all hate Power Slap so much. Now y'all are defending it. I don't get it.
The reason why Ariel Helwani and Dana White have a beef is because when Ariel Helwani worked for Fox at the time was the national broadcaster for UFC.
It was,
weekly fights and stuff like that. And basically, they were the first guys that gave mainstream mixed martial arts coverage. Fox Sports, the only in part of Fox that has any integrity, the sports department. With that said, Helwani mentioned UFC fighters, UFC fighters wanting higher pay. Dana White didn't want that to get out. That's why they have a beef.
Yep.
And it's well known that Dana White is not necessarily the best fucking boss to work for.
But you see that context is that people leave that part out on purpose. Because if they leave that part out, that what Ariel was doing with that doesn't go with their narrative. Because right now everybody wants to make it look like Ariel's just this journalist, this WWE journalist shill, and he's just on the side of WWE all of a sudden. Like, the whole time he really was just. All of this is only because they were in his hometown of Montreal. They had him on camera. He was just having a ball. He didn't even know all this shit was going on until after they were and showed it. He didn't even hear. Obviously, he didn't hear the cut that Michael Cole has said. So he's just like, wait, what the hell is going on? He's like, what the hell is going on here? So it's just weird. And I once again, I go back and I say, it's weird to see a CEO and a president be this bothered or go on social media and give this much energy. Like I said, it's always weird to see that. I don't care. Me personally, I don't like to see billionaires have this much input to even be talking this much on social media. It's like, you're a billionaire. Just have your workers do this for you, and you just chill on the island.
And it's not only that, but it's
watching TV. It's not necessary.
Yeah, not only that, but it's everybody get mad, right? Everybody say some shit, somebody get mad, whatever, and they think shit out, they think shit to themselves or whatever. They might say, he publicly doing this. It's one thing. Everybody gets mad at maybe a journalist or something. They might have said something that they don't like about them or something, or they printed something that they might not have wanted to get out. But you publicly tweeting like a kid. How old are you? I honestly think that if you in a certain tax bracket, if somebody just say something about you, why do you care? Why do you care? Honestly.
Granted, passion. Yeah, even passion, you know what I'm saying? Even if you have the passion, I get it. But he's absolutely right. You are not living like majority of people on this planet. So chill. Number one. Number two, to add to QS's point, when Coachman apparently is like, oh, you're not in the business, you're not this. Neither was Meltzer.
Right.
Neither was Prof. Sapp. Neither was a lot of these other journalists.
Exactly.
So now all of a sudden you want to attack this man? Are you shitting me?
That's what. But that's the thing. That's how you know it's all right. This is clearly now y'all. This is the smoke and mirrors part. Okay, y'all are literally making this an agenda, because a lot of these so-called journalists, wrestling journal, if you want to say a lot of these, I wouldn't even say. At the end of the day, I don't. Ariel says he's not a wrestling journalist. Okay, cool. You're not a wrestling journalist. You're a journalist. But these same also wrestling journalists, they're not. They weren't. They're just coming from the perspective of media. They weren't in the ring. They weren't in the ring. They weren't wrestling. They didn't go to the indie circuits to go wrestle in Japan. Like they didn't do what you guys are claiming they were supposed to do. Like Coachman does have the privilege to say that he was a talent. He was a wrestler as a talent, and he transitioned over into and I guess you could say his journalism. But then again, you know what? It is what it is. I just think like this situation was just like it just got blown up out of proportion. It was hilarious at first. It was funny. And then now the joke just got taken way too far because again, the IWC, y'all still believe in this tribalistic imaginary war that doesn't exist. And y'all are like y'all are like this. I really believe like y'all made this war. This shit has become y'all lives and has become your identities. And y'all are just getting fucking weird with all of these people that are like, I guess, just covering the shit that's going on with both companies. Y'all are just making this shit weird. And now we're just here. And now we have to sit here and cover it. We have to cover it on a podcast for free when we don't even want to really talk about it that much.
Shit. And sadly, we say this. We talk about this whole war and all of this shit far too much. And that's not just us. That's a lot of fucking people. Mm-hmm. We're over it. I don't know how many times I gotta say this. Just enjoy wrestling. Enjoy it.
It's never going to be it's never going to be any, but the truth about it is, it's never going to be a enjoy wrestling. Like the enjoy, like I used to always preach that. I used to always preach it saying like, yo, just enjoy what you like, enjoy wrestling and everything. Bottom line, that shit's a sham. It's not, you're not going to be able to enjoy wrestling because even when you want to enjoy the wrestling, enjoy it for what it is, there's always other folks that literally sit here and visibly hate watch it on purpose. Yeah. They will hate watch and then they go and write dissertations on Twitter. So then that goes to like there's even people that sit here and make spreadsheets out of it. So I don't really want to hear anything about like enjoy wrestling. Y'all out here making spreadsheets. I don't know what else. There's nothing else
we should talk about. That shit was not. You know what? 2 seconds. Yo, you're telling me you have that much time on your in your schedule to sit there
to go on Excel
go every match
and go a spreadsheet on Excel. Yeah.
Like, that's
not even getting paid. Not even getting paid for it. You're not even getting paid for it. You're not making no money.
You're not even getting recognition for it. The only reason you're getting recognition is because people are looking at you like you're
with the tagline when he, when Roman Reigns tells you he's the most dominant champion of all time, he's lying to you. He's gaslighting you. I'm like, so he's a heel. You know what I mean? He's lying about his accomplishments. He's the heel. Like,
but you know what the crazy part is? It's not even about lying about his accomplishments. The problem is that he's doing heel shit because he's a bad guy. That is the whole fucking point. He's won by DQ. He's won by interference. He's won by he's lost by he's lost by DQ. But either way, the fact of the matter is that this man has still been champion for 2+ years, has been pinned for 3, if not over 3. So he's doing what the fuck he's supposed to do. And I'm sick and tired of people talking about, this bloodline storyline is stale. This bloodline storyline doesn't make any sense. If you don't shut the fuck up.
That's lies.
It's all lies.
If you don't shut up, I can understand you being upset about Roman holding the title for that long. I can understand that.
Or just don't like WWE in general. Like, come on.
But the bottom line is that this is the best story going. Hell, this might be one of the best stories on TV. Period.
Yeah.
Best story on TV right now.
I digress. Since we are already talking about Roman, let's jump into the Elimination Chamber. It's going to be real quick. We'll just touch on a couple of things, a couple of spots, because let's be real, the Elimination Chamber is all about spots. But there was a lot of amazing things that happened that night. Of course, we'll save the main event for last. But gents, why don't we just follow the card and just talk about just a couple of the spots? So we will start with the women's Elimination Chamber match that Asuka won, and she is going to WrestleMania to face Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's title. Gents, what spot?
Very wanted
What spot
rematch.
made you excited?
You know, I'm
Asuka.
surprised. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Asuka. That's it. That's all I gotta say.
Because
Asuka.
I was gonna say like it really wasn't spots that it really like had me like wow in the women's elimination chamber, because I felt like the women's elimination chamber, it was just solid wrestling. It was just solid wrestling,
Yeah.
and truthfully, the right woman won.
Yeah,
That's really what it is at the end of the day. The right woman won.
I agree.
It was solid wrestling from top to bottom. I think obviously, because if you want to say a spot, the real like wow spot was Natalia had Liv in the sharpshooter, and then Oscar had Liv in that devastating in that weird crazy submission that she does, that arm bar.
It's like a Rings of Saturn ish.
kind of. Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
like
And it got to the point that like Liv just like passed out instead, like passed out from both of the pain. It was like a little homage to, like, it was like a little bit of a shade of what Bret Hart did to Austin
Steve
at
Austin, yeah.
WrestleMania, where he just passed out from the sharpshooter,
and
but
it
then
keeps her strong.
but then she just added on to it. So it's just like, that's the one spot. I wouldn't even say it's a spot. It was just a match. It was just solid wrestling, and the right woman won. That's it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm surprised at the spot in which I think it was Liv Morgan that got her head put through the chains.
A bunch of it was like four women who got their heads through the chain.
Because they're gonna, those are like spots that they're gonna replay in like those Elimination Chamber packages. Like, oh, this is the most dangerous match of all time, right? I'm surprised that didn't get enough like traction or pop from the crowd. But I agree,
Because
like as far as like the moment,
4 women did it.
yeah. I'm surprised that they didn't pop for that. But I think as far as like the right woman winning the match, it was totally Oscar. Like, I don't think that they can deny like how like the presentation at this point like really matches up with the product of what Oscar is as a wrestler. So you can't deny that.
For sure. I mean, there's nothing I can really say. I think the overuse of the head through the chains was a thing, like in my opinion. I think there was something else I wasn't too crazy about, but I think that's just nitpicking. All in all, look, the right woman won. Just like y'all said. So that match is going to be really fun at WrestleMania. I can't wait to watch it.
Rematch, correct?
Not at Mania.
No, but just in general. It's not a rematch at all.
I'm pretty sure they wrestled at least once.
I swear they did at least once.
I think Bianca won clean.
I could be wrong. I thought they did. Maybe they didn't.
It was somebody Raw, but I don't remember how far back that was.
I think they only did. I think they wrestled once, but I think they wrestled once, but it ended. No, the triple threat match that was solid. That was between her and Becky. But I think but what led to it is those two did end up facing each other once, but it ended in a DQ, I think, because of Becky. So this is like actually going to be like their first actual time actually going one-on-one. I believe so. Without any type of interference.
May 30th, 2022, May 9th, 2022. So they've wrestled a few times.
There you go then.
And then of course there was the triple threat match. So there was a few. They wrestled a couple times. Excuse me. I'm not sure if I'm wrong or right, but what's good, Rodney? Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. Hey, Bobby. Bless you.
Thank you.
So yeah, there was a lot that happened in that match. I would definitely say it was better than their WrestleMania match.
Oh yeah.
But
WrestleMania.
I don't.
Was it a WrestleMania match?
No, not WrestleMania. I'm sorry.
Survivor Series. Yeah, Survivor Series. Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. So excuse me about that. Wait, was it?
Yeah, that was Survivor Series.
They didn't face each other at Survivor Series.
Royal Rumble? No, he eliminated him Royal Rumble.
Yeah, he eliminated him.
When did they wrestle?
It was on
No. That was all the way back at when he
Jewel.
won the WWE title.
Crown Jewel, yes. Crown Jewel,
Yes.
right.
They
There you
faced.
go.
No, they faced each other. They faced each other recently at Crown Jewel. Then before it was the last time they were running was
Elimination
it was the Elimination Chamber, and that's what led to Bobby getting that concussion, and he had to get taken out, and Brock ended up winning the title back.
Right.
That was the shoulder injury angle that they botched basically.
Yeah.
So, but Lesnar, kicks Bobby, low blows him pretty much.
Yeah, and it was a DQ.
And it was a DQ, to which now goes into Bobby Lashley versus Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania.
Supposedly.
It's fucking weird.
I mean, that's what it seems like. Listen,
Bobby brought up Omos.
I don't see it. I don't see it.
And Lesnar versus Omos. So
I don't see it. I don't get it. I don't understand the pivot. Like, especially because it wasn't a clean finish, and Brock Bobby didn't do anything to get his heat back. So it's like I don't see that match. Like I see them having a match, like once and for all, like maybe last man standing, something like fight to a finish match at WrestleMania.
So speaking to Rod about it, actually, he brought up a good point. So he said his suggestion was that they approach it like, okay, you have two of the biggest and strongest dudes in the WWE, being Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar, right? Mm-hmm. Physical strength, amazing speed, great agility, but that's all physical. Bray is up here. So as strong as you are, I'm going to prove that I'm stronger up here. So if they approach it that way, that's a great way to go into WrestleMania with 5 more weeks of Raw. So if they approach it like that, I think they'll be okay. Like I said, the match was not a bad match. It was better than their last, the Crown Jewel. It's just like you guys said. Right now it becomes the pivot. It goes, where does it go? Lashley and Omos. You have MVP, so that's the connection. Not Lashley, I'm sorry. Lesnar. You have MVP, so that's the connection with Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have Omos, whom has more than likely probably been getting better, and he has been getting better since the first time we saw it. Well, in the ring, you know what I mean. So it and look, if Lashley, I keep saying Lashley, excuse me, if Lesnar is willing to work with him, because I think at this point that's kind of what it is with Lesnar. If Lesnar's willing to work with him, then I think there's a good look. Like I think that's a really good look for Omos.
Maybe Lesnar sees potential.
No, very much so. Very much so. I also think this is a great way to lead up into the Hurt business.
I think it's what I also then find hilarious is a lot of people are like I guess of angry at this whole thing of Lesnar going against Omos. Now, mind you, I don't believe that it's going to happen in any way, shape, or form. I don't believe it. I feel like there's a red herring that's coming from this. Yeah. But if it is to happen, what's the big issue? Like y'all hated Lesnar anyways. Y'all hated Lesnar with his matches. Y'all didn't like seeing Lesnar on TV. Y'all didn't like Lesnar taking up all this time. So now Lesnar's just here going against Omos. Now you guys are like defending Lesnar. This is what I'd be so confused with. Like, which one are we doing? Like, where's it going? Where's this going? Like, what side are we on here? It's either y'all don't want Lesnar to have a match at Mania, or y'all want Lesnar to have a Mania with the person that you want to see him with. Which one is it? I thought y'all don't want to see Lesnar on TV anymore.
And that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
Now y'all care about Lesnar's booking. Now y'all care. They're like, oh, Lesnar's they're doing Lesnar wrong. He just keeps losing. I thought that's what y'all wanted. I thought y'all got tired of Lesnar winning. Which one is it? Which one is it? I just don't understand. Which one is
horribly?
Now he's getting booked horribly. Lesnar's getting paid millions. So who cares? He's getting paid. He's getting paid regardless. Like, who cares?
Facts. Big shows.
If he wants to go against Omos, all right. I mean,
and I can legitimately kill almost everybody on that. I don't give a
I don't give a damn. Like, okay, you want me to go? Like, look, you want me to go? You want me to be booked and go against this guy who clearly can't move a muscle and is like probably and just maybe a smidgen better than Giant Gonzalez? Okay, cool, that's great. I'll go against him. Who cares? I'll make it entertaining.
I'll lift him. I'll F5 him. I'll
I don't
just
know, bro. He might be way.
Okay, like just so talking about the match, like to be honest, I didn't like it only because of the non-clean finish. I would have liked to see a clean finish.
Yeah,
You know,
same.
I thought it was short, but I also understand that they're probably building to something much better. Hopefully, you know, they're probably building to something much better and more anticipated between the two. If all of this leads up to a match at WrestleMania where it's like a good payoff, I'm all for it. Whatever. Who cares about the DQ finish? I think that too many fans complain about it anyway, especially if it leads to something a lot better. They're extending the story and they're telling more stories. Like,
right.
He had to use a low blow to get out of the hurt lock. That was the takeaway from this match.
Yeah, because he couldn't get out of it.
Secondly,
And he tried.
It reminds me of like when people say like, "Oh, you like sports entertainment over pro wrestling." Like, newsflash: all of pro wrestling is sports entertainment. They're not actually trying to kill each other. Like, you know,
and vice versa.
It's
like
literally all
think,
sports
like,
entertainment all across the board.
How many times you got to say
it?
it's
Forget
it's
that
two
these
sides of
people
the
are
same
playing
coin.
characters. It kills me. It's like the same people who were like, stop Anthony Hopkins on the street because it's like, I remember when you tried to eat that guard when you escaped from Silence of the Lambs. Like, he's acting. It's not a legit like thing. Like, he's not a cannibal in any way, shape, or form. Like, just like these two individuals, they're making money together. I'm sure they don't hate each other. Like, you know, things like that.
At least we don't think so.
At least we don't think so, right? I'm
Let's
pretty sure they have a lot of professional
let's call it what it
for
is.
each other. But the same token, like, you know, I think people read too much into the backstage stuff. Like, who cares how Lesnar's being booked at this point? Like, he's in an entertaining feud with Lashley at this point. Like, they're probably going to transition to Bray at some point. Like, we're going to see how that unfolds. Like, they're bringing back the Firefly Funhouse this Friday. I'm excited to see that. Like, I'm ready to see what's going to happen next. Maybe they have a triple threat. I'd love to see that.
That would be cool. Somebody brought up a good point and said, "What if there's a Bobby puppet?" I would
pop. If I saw a Bobby puppet.
I would pop.
A muscular, like, satin puppet.
Oh, no, for sure. I mean,
the real muscle man.
Strike, yeah, right. Strike. What'd you think, bro?
Of the Brock and Bobby match? It was exactly the showing that I needed. I feel every match they do, it's like a tease every time. You know, where we're just like getting to that point. Scary.
That is creepy. I did not expect that.
We are. It just seems like we're inching closer to a really good match. Like, I was expecting this match to go close to a half an hour, and it still went a pretty good distance for what I was thinking. But the low blow just left a sour taste. Like, honestly, what more can we say about Bobby Lashley at this point if Brock is resorting to, you know, having to, you know, actually use mind over matter and jump at the turnbuckle to pin him and to low blow him now because he actually fully got him in the hurt lock. So what does that mean for this character if, you know, he is Brock Lesnar's ultimately his kryptonite, where he really can't beat this man and he's resorting to everything to beat him.
Trick, yeah. When's the last time you seen somebody as powerful as Brock Lesnar use a low blow?
Yes.
I don't even
Think about
remember.
The only other person is Roman.
No, but it's like you brought up an interesting point. Like, yeah, the Undertaker is that right? That's the last time he used the low blow, because the Undertaker did it to him. It was like payback.
Oh, you mean who Bobby did it to? I mean, Lashley did it too.
Right? But I meant that in the sense of like,
in the sense like, you know, he's defeated or he's mentally like. Has the blockade, like he literally doesn't know what to do to get.
It's like, wow, I really can't break this guy's grip. And Lesnar's booked like it works because number one, Lashley is incredibly believable. I don't care what anyone says. Lashley is the last person I would ever want to touch me with strength. Like, if he decide, like, Lashley's probably got like one of those grips. Like, if he snatched you, I don't care who you think you are, you're not getting away.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, for
it's
sure.
one of those. It is like he's a legit badass. He's a powerful wrestler. And and secondly, the other guy he's wrestling is a legit badass with hands like, fucking holiday hams, and it's like he can't break that grip to get out the hurt lock. How devastating is the hurt lock? We all know it's devastating, but like this now confirm. Like if you didn't know, now you know.
Yeah.
I mean, for those that don't know, like Bobby is actually the only person that actually did break out of the original hurt lock. Well, what was before the hurt lock?
Yeah.
Master
I
lock.
was just about to talk about that.
He's
I was
only-
going to say we
he's
need to
only
get
one.
a sign that
He's
says
the only
hurt
one.
lock better than master lock. Like,
Yeah, he's the only one that broke out of it. So it's like it only makes sense that he's gonna be
He's
the
got
one to like
perfection in
apply more
place.
pressure than it now.
you know what's
Yeah,
interesting too? I'm sorry to cut you off. I was going to say, Chris Masters, whom I know that is still his ring name. I'm not bugging,
Chris,
right?
I think it's Chris Adonis.
Adonis. You're right. I apologize.
Adonis.
Chris Adonis said on an interview, I believe it was with Chris Van Vliet, where he said that it absolutely makes sense that Bobby would be the one to use what was formerly known as the Master Lock because he is the only man who broke it. And that was on worldwide television.
Mhm.
Like, can y'all remember when after he broke it and just the hypeness that Bobby had after that and
Yeah.
like that moment and that pop? You know what I mean? Like, no
Goes to show you
out of the Master Lock. at
something
that
as
point.
simple as a full Nelson can still get over because of the
Absolutely.
legitimacy of it and the way that the person looks when they apply it. Like Lashley, by all intents and purposes, his genetic profile. I mean, who wouldn't want to look like Bobby Lashley, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Secondly, the full Nelson, if you apply it correctly, could really do damage to a person's shoulder and neck.
Yup.
So I would hate to be put in a full Nelson by somebody that looks like and is as powerful as Bobby Lashley. Like, so good, kudos to them. I think it was a good call. Just
Definitely.
bringing that move back and having him do it. Like, and they got it over. And think about it, they got it over in an era where there was no fans in attendance.
Right.
No fans in attendance. They got over a full Nelson. Like people, I understand. Like WWE may have not have been as, especially in quality, like during the pandemic era, and a little bit after that, like may not have been the best quality, but little things like that they really do nail. I think, like as far as like presentation is concerned, like they protected that move, they protected the individual who uses that move, and I think they really do need to get enough credit for how they've handled Lashley. Like they've really protected Lashley. Lashley's booked like a fucking god. Lashley rarely loses. Like, and when he does, it's a big deal, I think. So
yeah, for sure. Next is the mixed tag match with the Grit Couple, Edge and Beth Phoenix versus Finn Balor and Rhea with Dom on the side.
Low
The
key,
Judgment.
Mommy.
low key one of the matches of the night.
Yeah. They those four put on a hell of a show.
They did.
I mean, just go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say mine's just quick and brief. It was solid showing. Shout outs to Beth paying tribute to Bull Nakano. That was pretty awesome. Beth really did look like she really didn't lose a step. I mean, maybe she only really had I felt like it was only 2 botches. It was the mess up of a spear, and I mean her getting to the near fall a little too late for when Rhea knocked Edge out with the brass knucks.
Yeah.
That was just like the only hiccup, but other than that, still a great showing. It was great. Glam slam to the floor was beautiful. It was just solid all around. It was nice to see that scaring Dom off was good.
Floor.
Yeah, scaring Dom off was obviously fun. So it's like this program in itself was fun to watch. It was fun to watch, but it's more or less. I guess it would hope to be like this is one story. I hope that is after this is done. I don't want them to like you can just leave it at that. You don't need to push it over. You don't need to push it forward. It's cool. That is.
So I did find out that, and I don't know if we spoke about this off air, but so the original WrestleMania match was supposed to be Edge versus AJ Styles. Since AJ is hurt right now, Finn is now going to take his place. So it's going to be Edge versus Finn Balor. We don't know which Finn Balor. So hopefully we get to see the Demon at WrestleMania again. Oh no, not again. Never. That was SummerSlam I'm thinking about.
But I'm about to say, so it was gonna be Edge versus AJ Styles again.
He
No,
was at
no.
WrestleMania. Did he not
Yeah.
beat Baron Corbin at WrestleMania? Demon?
Who? Demon?
Demon
You
Finn. Did he
could
not
be
beat
right,
Baron
but I don't
Corbin?
remember. I'm
Yeah,
blanking
he
out.
might
I
So
could be
you're
wrong.
probably right.
Might have been King
Um,
Corbin, yeah.
You could be right.
I could be wrong. I don't know.
But so as of right now, it's looking like it's going to be Edge versus Finn Balor at WrestleMania.
Nice.
Um,
Hopefully we get Hell in a Cell.
look, man, I'm to be honest with you, I'm waiting for that singles match between Beth and Rhea. I need them to pull that trigger.
They might do
That
that,
match is going
WrestleMania
to
too.
fucking
Stack the card.
kick-
No, they're not gonna do that. She's
How are they gonna
Rhea's
do that?
Oh, sorry,
Rhea-
Rhea's in a match. Rhea's in a match.
Yeah, Rhea's gonna get Charlotte. Like that's not happening.
So maybe
No.
the Raw after WrestleMania.
What would be crazy is if Beth was inserted in that match. That I'm just
I get it. It's like
it would
you know
be the
what I
spot.
you know what I want. You know what I want us to stop doing. Not anything. Not just like for now. Let's stop having triple threat matches for a moment.
Just for a little while, yeah.
Let's just for a little bit. Let's just stop with the triple threat matches at Mania. It's a little. Sometimes it's a little too convoluted. It adds onto the story because it makes it seem like you're just adding somebody onto the card just to get them on the card. Let's just let the story be what it is. Finish the current story.
Yep.
No
Yes,
code, no pun intended to Codell Rhodes. Let's just finish the story. Finish what's
right.
what we have right here. Worry about what happens after Mania.
For sure.
Right.
So
I
once
agree.
again, shout out to those 5 because let's be honest,
give Dom credit. Dom got a
I
lot.
mean, yeah, Dom is so hated. He's over.
Yeah.
The worst thing that ever happened is happening. He's hated so much that we've got him over just from hating him.
And his we understand that his character is supposed to be a joke character, but he's making it work so fucking well.
That's all it is.
That he's making it like it's believable that he would think that a night in a slammer would make you a hard time criminal. You know what I mean? Like that, and how far he's taking it or they're taking it is great. But my only thing is how it's changing the Judgment Day. But that's another time for another night.
I mean, I think you can have a joke character in a serious faction.
No. But that's not why. We'll put a pin in this one.
All right.
So next match was the men's elimination chamber. Austin Theory, Bronson Reed, Damian Priest, Johnny Gargano, Montez Ford, and Seth freaking Rollins, where Austin Theory retained, but that was also due to an interference from Logan Paul after hitting the buckshot lariat or the internet lariat or the impulsive
lariat.
Bro, it was so good. It should be called the impulsive lariat. That would be dope.
It's the best in the business. He has the best one in the business. There's this.
And you know, like you just see Hangman Page do it last night, and it just doesn't feel the same, bro. Like I want to see Logan Paul do it so much more. Like it's crazy.
I don't think I'll ever give one of the Paul brothers props on this show, so I'll just keep my thoughts to myself.
No, that's fine because the missus
the kid is really.
I can't take away the fact that he's great. He's great. I'll tell you this. They are finally, I think, using him correctly. Like he is so easy to hate.
He's what Dom should have been.
I don't know. I don't think Dom is that. I think the athletic profile is a little bit too much to be desired. But however, I will say this: he is capable of getting the same heat that Dom can get.
Oh, absolutely. If not more.
Yeah, I think that
just because
I thought the match was booked pretty solidly. Like from the way everybody was eliminated to the order of the participants, I thought it was great.
I wanted Bronson to get some more offense in, but I was fine with it.
He got a lot of offense in though. He got a lot.
Bronson, I thought. Look, that's why I liked how it looked. Nobody looked weak.
Yeah,
like Bronson Reed was the first guy out, but it took like 3 finishers to get rid of him.
Yeah.
Yep. On top of altogether 5 super kicks before the finishers. So
he came out very solid.
But look, let's talk about it. Talking about spots. This was the match for spots.
Spot
Number
fest.
one, Johnny Gargano doing the Hurricanrana
Frankenstein, yeah.
off
Oh, the
of
Poison
the
Rana.
top of the chamber to Seth Rollins onto the crowd. I mean,
Yeah.
onto
Oh, I was talking
Yeah.
about the in-ring version they did.
crazy. Um, the spot where Seth Seth and Montez did the blockbuster combo that the Street Profits do. The even the simple spot of Seth and Gargano being on top of the cage, which was right before the Hurricanrana, and they're like talking, and then you just see Seth chop the shit out of him.
Yeah,
Wow,
tried to
from close
beat the
range.
shit out of him.
Oh
then-
my
and then
god.
And it looked like he was going to do the buckle bomb off him, and then it turned into that Hurricane Rana.
Poison Rana, yeah.
That was,
Crazy.
let's not
And-
forget Montez
Yup.
Ford's
Yup.
free fall. That
That's
free fall,
exactly
that
what I
was
was going
beautiful.
to get to.
Montez really, believe it or not, the MVPs of that men's elimination chamber. Obviously, well, everybody did their thing, but
Yeah.
the 3 stars of that whole entire thing was Gargano, Montez, and Bronson Reed. Bronson
Yeah.
Reed showed out. Bronson
Yeah.
showed the fuck out. And Montez, he really did his fucking thing. Like, he had me really believe that he was going to actually be the one to do it. I was like, oh shit, it really might be Montez's time. He was on one, and it just, and the fact that he sold that curve stomp to the
Yes.
cell floor so well, it's just like, damn. It was more like a damn. But then
I'm
that,
not
but
gonna-
then when they, but when but even when Seth did the jump and close on it to Gargano,
Yes.
and it turned into like that whole flipping Frankensteiner to
Yes.
That's the spot. I was
Bronson. That was just like, holy shit.
Oh,
Like,
insane.
but I was
Um,
happy, and I was really, but I'm my last point to finish. I was just really happy to see like Johnny Gargano get reinvigorated in this match, because I know a lot of people have been giving Johnny shit, trying to basically clown him on social media, saying like, oh, he's been stale, it's been flat, it's underwhelming, he's not going anywhere. If this didn't show y'all that he's solid and he's pretty much okay with where he's at, he's gonna be okay. This restored confidence. Like, yo, they're good. They're gonna be fine. They're where they're going with this. The slow pace that's going with this, it's fine. It's perfectly
For
fine.
sure.
Not only that, but he was also
Sorry.
hurt. So I don't think that's actually fair to say.
Yeah,
like,
he had
hurt. He had like a shoulder injury.
Yeah,
Did he?
shoulder injury.
Yeah, he had a shoulder injury. He was taking time off. So it was like, to say that he wasn't going anywhere, the guy wasn't wrestling and he's hurt. He's recovering.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant in the match.
No, just in general. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
that I remember.
Yeah,
I think
to
one of the
come off that
fun
and
match.
show out was crazy.
Mental elimination.
Yeah, I think-
was a fun match.
I think the biggest thing is that all 6 men were strong.
Yep.
Even when you lost,
That's
you
how
were
you
still
put that
strong.
on.
And
Yeah,
typically the elimination chamber, that's kind of how it is. Even with the women's match, all the women look strong. They
Yeah.
ended strong.
Mhm.
And these 6 men just went to prove, and once again, you mentioned Gargano. The other person is definitely Bronson Reed. People was like, what the hell are they gonna do with Bronson Reed? And look at what happened. He showed that he belongs.
Mhm.
And some of us already knew that. We saw his NXT stuff. We saw him when he left and he went to New Japan and he went to Impact and he did all of these other promotions. He was killing the game. He was killing the game. But
Didn't he beat Okada?
yes.
He beat Okada, but that's the running joke that they always say, like, oh, he beat Okada. This is the guy who beat Okada. Now he's here in WWE doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Well, if
Give
he
him
beat
time.
Okada, if he had beat Okada when he was in New Japan, then they should have been pushing him more after he did beat Okada. They
Yeah.
did it.
Agree.
Like,
But he did.
shut up.
He came
Just
back
shut up.
and
Shut up with
there
the
was a
jokes.
lot. There was a lot going on.
Yeah. But let's get on to the grand finale.
So let's talk about it. The tribal chief versus the man who essentially turned his back on the bloodline.
The hometown
So-
hero.
Hometown hero. So Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Look, first off, we have to talk about this first and foremost. 4 minutes and 13 seconds
That's right.
of just the crowd taking over, hijacking that match for a good 4 minutes and 13 seconds. 4 minutes and 13 seconds.
Not only that, and then it went from you really heard it in visible form. Fuck you, Roman, over and over and over and over and over, and what? And you know something? That's y'all tribal chief. He ain't mine. But one thing I will acknowledge is the simple fact he is a very good fucking supervillain. He's a great supervillain. Because even when they were saying "fuck you, Roman," he was taking it in. He didn't get the old Roman back in the day when shit like that would happen. He'd get rattled. He'd get rattled a little bit. You see it in his game. He'd get bothered by it when they're booing him like this. But this time now, he just took it all in. He's just like, okay, cool, great, I'm here. He just took it all in, soaked it in, and it's the way the match went. Almost the entirety of the match, he just played to the crowd, just being a true villain. He was talking shit to Paul. He over here talking shit to Paul, slapping Sammy up. He's over here going to Sammy's wife and saying, "I wanted us to be together. I wanted it. It was supposed to be us." And she's like, "No, you didn't." It was just like,
he loves you.
His wife, low key. His wife played her role.
This man is talking cat shit. This man is talking cat shit to this man's wife, his kids, his brother, sisters.
She deserved it.
Just talking cat shit to them while he's beating the dog shit out of Sammy. And it's just like, it just works. Just like, yo, this man is a real supervillain. And it just had
to sprinkle on your point with that. Like it was for a good 10 minutes. He's not even looking at Sammy. He's talking to his wife the whole time.
Yep.
Over the ring, talking shit to her, ignoring Sammy in the corner. It was the most hilarious thing ever to me.
He tried to help provide for that family. And that was the thanks that he got.
Facts.
He told his wife, this is why he's going to get hurt. Mm-hmm. Nothing personal, nothing to do with you, but I've tried to help provide for you and the little ones.
Like I tried to keep us together like this. Well, you did it.
Exactly.
The fact that she responded and said, "No, you didn't," I was just like, "Oh my god!"
I was hooked at that point. No, I'm not gonna lie. No funny shit. All jokes aside, I was hooked when she said that.
Yeah,
like you know me, I was trying to watch All-Star Weekend and all that. Right. I was like, the hell with the dunk contest. Matt McClung can take me. I can watch this later on or whatever. I'll catch this on YouTube. When she said, "No, you didn't," I was like, "Well, I'm sold."
Yeah,
sold.
So here's the story.
I mean, obviously, it was good to see Sammy try to be the Sammy of old. Obviously, he can't do a lot of the shit he used to do.
Yeah, for
Salah, the ring tornado, the apron tornado DDT, can't do that no more. We saw the gash. I was just like,
man,
more brother. But it's cool.
He hasn't done it in so long.
Yeah, so long. But I'm like, you know what? It's okay. You ain't got to. But
I was hyped when Roman was on the other side. I was
waiting for that spot the whole time. I was like, is he gonna do it? He did it. And he tried to do it, and then he got the slap. I was just like, oh, there you go.
It was great.
Here's the one thing I think that we got to talk about with this match, though, is how well it was paced.
Yes.
They didn't touch. Like, they milked that crowd reaction.
Yeah. Slow, methodical pace.
Slow and methodical pace. I remember saying to myself, like, if this was any other modern match, they would have been on the 6 near fall. Every single move was done to make the crowd feel every blow, every moment of hope, every moment of despair.
Yep.
Like it was perfectly paced. I loved it.
Absolutely.
There is something else that I think people aren't speaking about. Perfectly paced, yes. But the storyline itself is so intricate to who Roman is. Because if you really watch him and listen to him, he's telling them the entire time, mind you, the entire time. This man said, "I don't want to do this. I didn't want to do this to you.
He didn't.
I brought you into my family to provide for your family, to consider your family my family.
Preach it.
I didn't want to hurt you. You turned your back on me."
Not abuse, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, what K Marvel is explaining is typical the typical abuse and intimate partner
No.
violence.
No. Listen, you're
Massive
right,
manipulation.
but this is besides the point. Okay? The fact of the matter,
He's a typical
But-
abuser
but you
because
know
all
what?
of because all of that was so much manipulation and gaslighting.
And it
He was gaslighting Sammy while he was beating the dog shit out of him.
But
Do you
but
know?
the-
Like, make it make sense. You're telling me
No.
you want me in your family. You didn't want to do this, but you're still beating the dog shit out of me.
Yep.
But you don't want to do this. You're
I mean,
you're,
you in
you're
the back. What do
blaming
you
me.
want?
Sacrifices
You're
have to
blaming
be
me.
made.
You're
Like,
blaming
who-
me.
what you
You're
gonna do?
blaming me for beating the dog shit out of me within an inch of my life, within my
Yeah.
family, in front of
Roman-
my wife.
Yes,
of
his
course.
fault.
But you're
Roman
blaming
is Ike and Sammy is Tina. We gonna leave it at that.
you could even you can
Roman
use the
is
Ike and Tina
Joe,
reference.
and Sammy
It's
is
very
Michael.
true.
What do you mean? Listen,
It's really true.
But
And then
there's-
it was so layered because it's like, and then obviously everybody was waiting for the Jay to come in and turn. And then it shows the show like, Jay came in, first Jimmy came in, obviously came in, tried to interfere, boom. Sammy tried to prevailed with that. Great. No Solo, good. You don't need Solo a part of this right now.
Solo.
Here goes Roman still got him down, but here goes Jay. Oh, Jay's
what's
here.
gonna happen?
All right. So we think everybody's thinking that Jay's gonna really turn tonight. Like, all right, because we all kept expecting this. Jay's gonna turn, it's gonna hurt everybody's heart. This is just gonna set up the match for WrestleMania. No. Jay has a chair, but he's just still at the crossroads. It's like Bone Thugs. It's like Bone Thugs. It's like Bone Thugs. Bone Thugs. It's Bone Thugs. It's crossroads right here. He just don't know.
Great.
He doesn't know what to do.
He
He
doesn't
doesn't know
comment.
where to go. Doesn't know where to go. And what does Roman do instead? Roman goes back into abusive mode. What are you doing? What are you doing? He's like, yo, all right, I'm not going to do it. You do it. What are you waiting for? Hit him. Hit him. What are you doing? And Jay's just like, just standing there,
Having a
like
hard time.
nah.
Yeah.
having a hard time. And what does Roman do? Mush this motherfucker in his face. Once again, you mushing a grown man in his face, and then you slapping him and you calling him out of his name.
He's lucky. He's lucky Jay didn't respond like Sammy did.
He was about
He's
to.
lucky.
He was. I'm not gonna lie. Jay was gonna hit Roman with that chair. I feel it in my soul. He was gonna hit him with that chair.
It was
But
coming.
then Sammy accidentally speared him, and it happened. You know what? It happened. He accidentally speared him. It was what it was. And then Roman caught that last spear, and it was that 1, 2. That was the joy of the night. That 1, 2, 3, and it
the
was
silence. Oh
silence.
God!
It wasn't like the booze. We thought it was gonna be like Montreal Screwjob booze, where they're gonna start throwing shit into the fucking ring. That is the type of villain that you need to be, where you can defeat the hometown hero and sap the energy from the whole arena, sap the life from them. I don't care if y'all boo me. I've already done it. I beat your hometown hero.
Yeah, I have
Y'all
a friend.
thought
Any better than that.
y'all thought y'all were gonna have this win. Y'all thought it was gonna the Cinderella story was gonna happen, and it just
The glass slipper fell off.
Yeah,
it just
they-
did it.
at
It just did it.
And I think I have a friend who actually went. Him and his girl went to Montreal. And well, they were going anyway. It just so happened that his strategy. But they went and went to the show, and he said he told us that it was deafening. The
Good.
silence was deafening.
Good.
The beginning was deafening because you couldn't hear shit because of the crowd,
and now
and
it's
the
definitely
silence was
and
deafening
quiet.
because of how quiet it was.
Yeah,
Just
good.
how strong
Good.
it. Yeah.
You need that quiet. You need that.
But
last time
so-
the last time y'all got a quiet, a silence, a shock of silence like that was when the Undertaker
been a
show
while.
ended.
Yup.
That was the last time. Now, good. And I ain't gonna lie. This is the one time where I was actually like satisfied with Roman winning. I was like, good. The
So
villain
they-
won. The villain keeps winning.
Yeah, and the
God-
thing too, like, look, it's just like you said, right? Roman is the final boss of the WWE.
He's the ultimate final boss.
He is,
He's the
Akuma.
bison. He's a bison.
Final boss.
He
Yeah.
is freaking, Regal. He is fucking
Rugal, you mean?
whatever. I don't know, somebody up there, like Shredder. He's fucking Shredder. You know what I'm saying?
Heihachi,
Like,
Ogre.
There's too
Ogre,
many.
fucking-
He is
like, no
the
matter-
one.
And the thing about it is, it's like no matter what, I'm glad that happened because it put to bed all this like the hope that everybody just had out of the blue about Sammy needing to be the one to like end Roman. First and foremost, I get it. Y'all like that Sammy is finally getting his shot and it was over. It was never part of the story to be for Sammy to be the guy. It was never that was never the case. I don't know where y'all keep trying to link Sammy to like when Daniel Bryan was trying to get to the top. And the thing is, y'all keep trying to compare those stories where one, Sammy in this storyline has always been the naive person that's been looking for acceptance from anybody. He's just looking for a family. Whereas Daniel Bryan was literally just fighting. He was fighting the system. They really kept him out down the task. There's nothing that right now. There has nothing. It had nothing. They don't go hand in hand. You don't need, and the fact that y'all even wanted to end, y'all wanted this 900+ day reign to end just like that. Nah, we can't do that. We're not ending that. We don't need that to end. We're good. We just need it's good to see Roman. Roman got that win. The shit keeps going. The chosen one is going to be the one to beat him. At least I hope so. The chosen one will beat him. Sammy has there's another way that Sammy can take down the bloodline. His story's not over.
Going. Well, let's not forget the very end of that match.
Oh yeah,
where
he was going
to where KO came out. He stuns Roman Reigns, stuns Jimmy Uso, and then stuns Paul Heyman, which was hysterical. First off, I don't give a damn what anybody says. Number one, and I will say this shit over and over and over again. Paul Heyman is one of the best talkers to ever do it in the industry, period. Okay. Number two, Paul Heyman knows how to sell because the man has been doing it for decades. When you look at the intricacies of this, the one when he took the stunner and he dropped to one knee, you know what I mean? Like, it's the small things that work. Him showing up on Raw the next night with the damn neck brace on. Like, it's the little things. You know what I mean? But then Roman's in the corner, Sammy's in the other corner, KO's in between, looks, steps aside, hits the hula kick, and sends the Montreal crowd home happy. Man, I must say, listen, man, this Elimination Chamber has broken so many records for past Elimination Chambers. It was the highest viewed. It was the highest gate. And there's one more, and I'm forgetting what it was. But either way, this Elimination Chamber was a great way to continue the beginning of 2023. The next major event is, I believe, NXT Roadblock, then NXT Stand and Deliver, and then it's
Roadblock is what, next month?
Yeah, it's coming up. This is a couple weeks.
Midnight.
And then WrestleMania, which is another 2-nighter, which is April 1st and April 2nd. We will let you know what we're.
I just hope night one has the tag match because
It should. I think it should.
That.
And then
burn the house down.
Yeah, they are. And then on Raw, KO's like, look, I told you I was done with you. After Sammy said, let's do this together. Bobby said, Bray, I don't give a damn. I'm gonna whoop your ass. Cody's sick and tired of people making it personal. So there's all of that going on.
Yep.
To which I wish they kind of wouldn't. But there's a man, and like I said, man, we got Bianca versus Asuka. Look,
nice little stare down.
These WrestleMania cards are really stacking up to be something amazing.
Well, you're going to be in Hollywood. You're going to be in Inglewood, actually. So you're going to be in the hood. But you got to bring the hood out, man. You got to bring the hood to SoFi, bro. You got to make it as Hollywood as possible.
Absolutely. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm very excited about WrestleMania.
It's going to be a good card. WrestleMania will be a good card. It's shaping up at least to be a good card. We just have to wait and see if Triple H is still going to like Triple H. He's already in the driver's seat. It's already going good. Let's see where it goes from here. it was just an exciting weekend of wrestling. You know, we had that.
Sure.
We had,
Talking about that, yeah, what happened after the Elimination Chamber,
yes,
which
the
was
debut of Mercedes Moné. She formerly known as Sasha Banks. She did debut. She went against Kyrie.
for the
Honestly, Battle in the Valley was good. There was a lot of things that did happen in Battle in the Valley.
Tribute also there,
Jay White is officially a free agent. We could just basically call
He
that
is.
what it is because Eddie Kingston actually won. Disappointing,
match.
but it is what it is. Disappointing.
Eddie Kingston won a match.
Yeah, disappointing, but it is what it is.
Funny, Eddie Kingston has more build on a show that's not AEW than AEW.
Correct.
It's crazy.
I'm not gonna do that because I'm not getting into that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that right now. I would say for anyone that wants to, I'd say go watch Mercedes Moné versus Kyrie. It was actually a very solid match, and it goes to show you that Mercedes has never lost a step. She obviously is going. She's still one of the best ever. She's one of the best here in this business. Even taking all these months off, she still
training.
She still is polished, and I think the finisher was called, what is it called? It's called the money maker. I believe that's what it's called.
That was my finish name. God damn it.
It was a wild ass finisher name, but but she hit it and it worked. It was just like,
they actually followed through with it this time. That's good.
Absolutely, yeah, bro. Absolutely.
Bro,
it was a one hit quitter. It was literally a one hit quitter. I was like, because remember all the times before.
It's like it starts like the old Rampage finisher, right?
It's a gory bomb DDT.
It's like a gory bomb DDT.
Yes.
Yeah, gory bomb DDT. But she calls it, I think, the moneymaker. It was but it was work. It was dope. So she's the second
IWGP Women's Champion.
She's the first black woman to have it. So that's actually even more historical in a sense. So I guess it makes sense that they gave it to her. You know, Mercedes she is a statement maker. She's usually a first of many. She is a first of. To a lot of the Mercedes stands, the crew, I want y'all to let go of this narrative to think that because she won this title that she was not. I want y'all to let go of this narrative that she was wasn't treated fairly, or she didn't get opportunities when she was in the E. While she may have had very short title reigns, this is still someone who got to do what a lot of folks have never been able to do. A lot of the women on the roster was able to. She was able to main event WrestleMania. She not only was able to main event WrestleMania, she was able to win an ESPY for it. A lot of people. So
it's very true.
She is a lot of first evers. She was part of those. She was part of those conversations. So in all actuality, she had a great run. Just be happy for her and let that narrative die and just enjoy her for what it is. This World Domination Tour, I don't know where else Mercedes is gonna go. And the pay-per-view ended with her and Okada in the same ring together, basically hinting that they're gonna be a tag team. Wow. That'll be cool to see. Two goats. Mercedes teaming with God is actually pretty cool. So that's why not. It is what it is.
I just took that as two champions personally. You know what I mean? I didn't think that was a faction being made. I felt like it was just two champions representing.
Yeah, it's two champions, but you're sharing the ring with God, so it just it's always a plus.
Elevates.
Yep. I ain't mad at you.
Yeah,
you're right.
So it's just interesting to see where she's going to go. It looks like AZM, if that's her name, is the one that's wants to challenge her next, and she got a list. She's got a list of people to challenge. I'm just like, yeah, she's gonna have a work cut out for her. I want to see more. I just want to see where Mercedes is going to land up next, where she's going to end up at. Who knows? Maybe we might see her at a Forbidden Door.
Maybe.
Kind of don't want to see her there. Don't want to see her there because I don't want to see those fans, because then those fans will never shut the fuck up. And I actually don't want to. I may have to mute the timeline for that. I don't want to be a part of that discourse, but I do want to see where she goes. I want to see where she goes. Wants to see where she goes, and I want to see how more she can thrive. Like this is new territory for her. It goes just seeing her in that match. It goes to show she should have been in New Japan from jump. This is where she belongs. She doesn't. Like I feel if that's the case, if they say that WWE doesn't deserve her, AEW doesn't deserve her either. Impact doesn't deserve her. NWA doesn't deserve her. She belongs in Japan. This is where she needs to be. Like
That's right.
stay in
I
Japan.
agree wholeheartedly.
That's it. That's her calling. Japan is her calling.
Yeah,
And it works.
and it's what she wanted. You know what I mean? And I think
What she
that's
wanted.
the most important thing is at the end of the day, we know that she is truly happy. And shout out for Bailey for also being there by her side. We already know she was going to be there. We're in San Jose.
A bunch of people were there.
Yeah,
Punk was there.
look, man, we're just proud. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think us as and I do think I can speak for all four of us when I say that we are happy for you. We are excited for your growth and your continued success. And honestly, I don't think we can't wait to see what happens next, man. We know
And
you were
class
training in
act
Mexico. Yeah, definitely.
Class
Well,
act
we know.
or do the Hana Kimura tribute. 'Cause
Yes,
Yeah.
that tribute was fire.
It's so crazy because I
Fire.
personally at first I saw it was Hannah, but I was over here thinking that she was paying homage to the video game Code Vein and the anime God Eater because
You could be
they
right,
have
though.
they have that same mask. That's the same mask that they all
And
use.
you
I'm
could
just like,
be right.
oh wow, that's a good homage that they playing right there. But then I was just like, oh, that is Hannah Kimura. She did wear that gear, so that was dope. That was dope either way.
Well,
Like,
we also know Mercedes is a huge nerd too. So you could be right with that also. So maybe it is truly just a mix of everything. And it's
Also,
not like
one
that's
day-
not the first time we've seen that.
one
You know
day,
what I mean?
I would just hope that one day when it happens, if we're able to grace the presence of interviewing her, one day I'd probably ask that question and be like, just to get it from her,
Sure.
like, yo, is that where it came from as well? And then she confirms it, I'll be like, all right, I feel better now.
For sure.
Also free next month for PlayStation Plus, by the way.
Yes, it is.
Code
Yes, it
Vein.
is. I do have breaking news. I don't know if you guys saw it yet, but let me give you a little date that I'm gonna need y'all to put down in your calendars. The date is I'm getting to it. July 29th.
July 29th.
Jobber Slam 3.
Okay.
It's official. So July 29th is Jobber Slam 3. Once again, shout out to Battle Club Pro and Jobber Tears Podcast. We love you guys and be there. Make sure there's a lot of stuff going on, man. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on. Also, we know Black WrestleFest is also coming up soon in the summer, I believe. So very excited about that. Once again, Catalyst Wrestling has an event on March 5th where the Catalyst champion, Mr. Darius Carter, will be facing someone from the Carter Group, who is also the Catalyst television champion, Mr. O'Shea Edwards, the Big Bad Kaiju. So once again, man, there's a lot of things coming up. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm really excited to see what wrestling has in store for the next 6 weeks. SmackDown is tomorrow night, so be prepared to hear from the Bloodline. Be prepared to hear from Bray Wyatt. As we know, the Firefly Funhouse is coming back. Be prepared to hear from Charlotte and Rhea. Who knows if she'll pop up? There's a lot of things going on. And and as you know, we'll be covering it. One real quick before we sign out, I just want to give a shout out to anybody and everybody who has made history for our people. There are so many inventions and so many things that Black people from the past and present have not gotten credit for. So I just want to say thank you for everything, for making simple things like this, a microphone, for us that we can use it and project our voices. Simple things like AC to make sure that we're cool, calm, and collected. You know what I mean? I can keep going, but once again, we are truly thankful, and we are so. Oh, excuse me, and the lunchbox. I mean, listen, that's kind of important. But once again, guys, thank you so much. And thank all of you for tuning in, commenting. We love you guys. And gentlemen, Let us do what we do.
Ladies and gentlemen, you already know where to follow me at on Instagram and at Twitter at Forever Thiefing. Like I said, like, share, subscribe our show. Always tap in. Always, give a like on any post that I post on Twitter or any story I post on Instagram. Just give a like, give a comment, tell a joke here or there. Like I said, I don't bite. Thanks for rocking with us. It's been real. It's been cool. Happy Black History Month. We went through it. It was tough, but we got through it. Now let's see. It is also Happy Pisces season. It is already the countdown going into next month. Next week is March, and that will be the countdown to yours truly. And that's all I got.
Happy birthday. Oh, sorry.
No, we ain't doing that right now. Not yet.
No, not right now. It was just in my head. I apologize. It was in my head.
I got into it. That's all my socials down there. You can follow your brother on Instagram. You can follow me on Twitter. Also, make sure you give a shout out to my boy Brizzy.
Yes,
Twitch.tv/Brizzy Time for your latest in Hogwarts Legacy content and Call of Duty content, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to my boy BJ, keeping his channel going strong. Got really impressive visuals on the channel now. I'm impressed with what you did with your channel, brother. I'm really proud of you. Keep it up.
Very nice.
Nice.
I'm StrykerDragoon. Good energy as always. Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, all the same. YouTube at StrykerDragoon131. Thank you, 2023 video. Still in the comments in the description. Just subscribe, comment, thank you, Dragoon Haven, and be added into the drawing, which will be happening sometime next month, officially. That's about it.
And as always, you can find me, K Marvel, at Mr. Marvel 87, both on Instagram and Twitter. You can also find my mental health podcast featuring co-hosted by Rodney Harris. You can find out on Instagram and Twitter at 88pod 2023. You can also, it also comes on tomorrow, Friday, live. Oh, not live, that's a lie. Tomorrow at 5 p.m. on prn.live. That's again tomorrow, 5 p.m. prn.live. We're actually talking about eating disorders. So it's a fun episode, but it is very deep. So I have one of my best friends on it, so I'm really excited. Also, make sure that you follow us on all our social medias. Four Corners of Commentary on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at The Council of Commentary, TikTok at Council of Commentary, and the Twitter at CO Commentary. And make sure you remember that you can follow us on all of your favorite streaming platforms, some being YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Audible, and iHeartRadio. Oh, that was the wrong button. Subscribe and hit that like. Thanks, Squish. Make sure y'all like it and subscribe it. Comment after the show is done, after you rewatch it. We appreciate that too. We go back and read those. So make sure you watch it and comment. Guys, we love y'all. Thank you so much. The four of us are your Four Corners of Commentary. Bam. And we out. Peace.